Offbeat Sports Podcast presented by Celsius.
It's been a tale of two seasons for the Boston Celtics.
I probably aged about 10 years just from that series.
I'd probably compare myself to just a younger, smarter, more handsome, stronger Michael Jordan.
Let's go Celtics. Go Patriots.
These are guys who, when you give them a bowl of Cheerios in the morning, they finish every last drop of milk.
Absolute clown over here.
I'm ready when you are, baby.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Offbeat Sports Podcast. We are sponsored by Celsius. We're on our 100th episode today.
Hey, Vosi wanted to take the intro. I let him, but we're back with our 100th episode. We got the OG host returning, me, Vosi, and Nick. The OG
I'm
three.
here.
And then Harry's with us.
here.
I'm here too.
Hey, this is going to be a great one. We got the four of us. We're going to start the episode recapping a few of our favorite offbeat memories. And then we're going to get into a nice Jeopardy game where we answer some offbeat trivia, guess the guess, Celtics and Patriots trivia. We're going to have a good time.
I hope everybody likes my background.
We got
My
the
good
old
friend
me.
Harry here.
It's old me.
The animated Harry that I love. I don't know if everyone else does, but
I think that's just a carbon copy cut picture.
this is my favorite offbeat moment. This is my favorite offbeat memory. Is this
When I go, Cross, can you make me a
This.
picture? And then that's what I saw for the next 6 months.
Actually, I made that before you even knew because I made it for your going away video.
Oh, yeah.
And then you asked me to make a new one, and the new one's actually kind of sick because
New one's
The
Yeah,
new one looks like you, but like the but that one is just so
Hey.
funny. All right, anyways,
All right.
keep going.
All right, let's get into some of our favorite memories. I know I'll show some clips, but I know Harry, we'll start with you. You're probably the
So
newest out of all of us. So we'll
I'm
start
probably
with you.
the most youngin of the four of us here. But no, honestly, my favorite offbeat memory, it's kind of selfish because it was my first episode. But it was my return from boot camp, return from schoolhouse, and it was my first time I actually got to sit down. And me and Cross talked about it beforehand. He's like, "Hey man, now that you're got some more time on your hands, you're done with all your recruit training and all that stuff. Would you want to come on and be a host for Offbeat?" And I'm like, absolutely. I mean, I love talking to people. I love doing stuff like that. Keep in mind, I had just been out of the limelight of the world for the last 3, 4, 5 months. So I knew absolutely nothing about the sports world. And Cross is like, yeah, no, we're going to be talking about the Celtics. And I have this big Celtics guy, Ian. Ian, what's up, dude?
Oh yeah, this TikTok guy, yeah, Ian.
I have
My
this
boy.
big Celtics TikTok guy on. His name's Ian. So it should be good. We're just going to talk some Celtics. And I'm like, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll come on. And I think the first thing I started talking about was how well Daniel Tice has been playing and how much I like him for the team. And he had already been long gone and traded to the Hawks. So I'm sitting
Rockets.
there rambling off. Yeah, whatever team he was
Still
on.
don't know.
Yeah, I was sitting there rambling off. I'm like, yeah, no, whole team's playing great. I love Daniel Thomas. He's back
Dude.
into his Daniel Tice. Sorry, I was like, I love Daniel Tice. See, this is it's bringing up bad memories. I love that episode for how botched it was. I'm like, yeah,
we're
I love
like,
Daniel Tice.
and we're looking at you like you're stupid, and we're like. Dude,
I mean, I'm just. You guys didn't stop me either. That was probably the best part. Nobody stopped me until after I had finished my whole spiel. I was like,
Welcome to my world.
I was like, Daniel Tice doing fantastic. Whole team's great. Daniel Tice really looking like his top 3 defenders in the league days. I'm loving it. And then Ian finally after I stopped talking,
Yeah, he's like, "What's wrong with you?"
Ian at the end he goes, he got traded to the Rockets, right?
Yeah, we had to explain it to him, and he was like,
And
oh.
and I was like, oh,
I
he
forgot
did?
about that.
Ian's like, yeah, no, he doesn't play for the Celtics anymore. I'm like, oh. I might have been looking at last year's stats then. I don't know. Because I just looked up stat lines real quick. I'm like, all right, he's playing good. Cool. We'll talk about it. It was a terrible, but I mean, who was more fitting for a kind of episode like that than myself, just spewing random knowledge and making it sound decent.
That was a good one. I thought you were gonna pick the cereal moment.
Oh,
or the
it was
the Michael Jordan
a
moment.
toss up. It was a toss up. Those 3 were definitely big ones. Kyle Squires interview in the NFL post draft show. Oh, good episodes.
Yeah, Harry started using random phrases now. He was talking about lineman. He goes, "I love the big guys. I love the guys where you give them a bowl of cereal and they finish every last drop of milk." And it's in our intro. So
I love that. I love that.
But
moment.
it's just like, oh my god. Then he compared himself to a
It was-
sexier Michael Jordan. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, I was
I'm like
like-
a more athletic, sexy Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I was like,
I
I'm just a
heard that.
younger, smarter, and more athletic, more handsome Michael Jordan. But no.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, right. Look at that handsome devil right there. Honestly.
all right. So that's
I'll go
a good. That's a
next. I got
that's a
great.
good moment. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Nick.
So
I think they're all gonna
Mine
be
would
about
be
me
none
now.
what was it?
I think they're all gonna be about me.
This
Most
one's partly
of them
about
will be,
Lucy.
but yeah.
None other than the Offbeat Open, the greatest golf match debatably in sports history.
That was fucking awesome.
Started with Bosi pulling up wearing the exact same thing I was wearing, the exact same shirt and pants. The shirt might have been like 7 sizes smaller than mine, but that's okay. And then had a great golf match. Came down to the wire. Me and Cross ended up tying.
Oh, that was a
Bosi-
hell of a
I
match.
lost by like 12 strokes.
Bosi hung in the back of the pack the entire game, but he was there for comic relief. I remember we had a mid-game.
Southern's Marsh.
Hold on.
Southern's
Wait. We had that. So we were doing post. Sorry, Nick. But like we were doing
You're good.
post hole interviews for some of them, and it's just like half the time it was just like, all right, Bosie's still behind, and then we.
Yeah.
I remember the first tee. Bosie goes, "Watch this," and then he like shanked it into like it went like 2 feet in front of him, and then he
Yeah,
took
but-
another. Took
Remember
another,
when
and it like shanked it.
Remember
best
when I
part
went
of
to
it, though-
drive and I snapped the club in half?
That's what I was gonna say, Bosi. He snapped his driver.
Oh, where- I had the shaft of it,
Flew
like the
into
one.
into the cranberry bogs. Like I swung and it was just like boom. It's just like,
I had the shaft of it. I don't remember where I put it. I had it like for a while, but like it was just, oh my god, that was one of the funniest moments.
When
Oh
you
my-
guys were
do a
doing that, when I heard about that,
do a
I wanted to
trophy.
go. I wanted to play so bad because I played golf like every single weekend growing up for like the first 7, 8 years of my life. From like 5 years old to 13, I would golf Friday through Sunday every weekend. So I was like, oh, I would tune these guys up the whole time. And then I watched what it was, and I just sat there looking at Bosie sit there. He's like, "You guys aren't even ready. I'm coming back. You don't call it
Bosi
come back
just
yet." I
talked
was
about coming back the whole time. That never happened.
dude,
It
I
was
never
really,
gave
it was
up
really
hope
funny. It
until
was
I
really
lost my
funny.
driver. I was kind of like, all right, it might be.
It was really funny because we all sucked at golf. We were
Sure.
all like, we were all god awful, which made
No,
it
no,
10
no.
times funnier.
You guys like sucked, but I like
No,
sucked.
Bosi was a new level of sucking.
Yeah.
and we had so much fun in that match. Like I
Run
remember,
it
like
back.
honestly, I want to run it back. Just 9 holes, 18 holes was way too much, but we had so much freaking fun doing that. I just like we could really do that right if we did it a second time. But
I could
But
come back.
let us know.
home.
Let
I
us
could
know in
come
the
back home.
comments. Let us know in the comments if you want us to run that back.
I'm
'cause
gonna pull up like Mello. I'm gonna drop like 60.
That's not good.
It's-
I meant it in a
That's
good way.
really
It's
not
a
good.
golf
Nine
way.
holes.
oh
yeah,
my god,
through 9.
Let's see,
Yeah,
I
put up
fully
60.
believe you'd be able to get that. Trust me.
All right,
60 on
just-
9
I would
holes is
also
pretty
like
good.
to make a request.
Still missing a
Drop a
driver.
clip right here of Bosie's mid-game interview where he said he was only there so he didn't get fined.
All right, I'll throw that clip in.
Michael Bosi, you're down by 15 strokes out of first, 14 out of second. All right, do you believe in miracles?
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
There you have it.
There you have it, folks. Bosi is only here so he won't get fined.
That's a great memory. I know we talked about that before, Nick. Like that's honestly one of our best things. It probably isn't like one of those stupider things we've done, but just making it and like you and just watching it is just so fun and funny to watch. Like even honestly, even if that got like 10 views, I would have been I wouldn't have cared because it was just
No.
it was so freaking funny.
No one finds it as funny as we do, though.
Honestly, yeah, we find honestly half the stuff that happens in our episodes we probably find to be way funnier than anyone ever does, just because like we're just so involved in it. But we love it. So that's definitely a good memory. Vosi, what do we got from you?
I can think of like so many different ones from like just funny things that I've said to like interviews we've done that I think are like funny or like that I like just like doing. I have like 2. All right, so like my first one, it's not like my top one. I don't really have like a top one. Like the Op It Up was like one of the most fun things I think I've ever done. Like just in general with all of you guys, it was pretty hilarious. But when we interviewed Chris Hogan, not the interview,
taking mine.
not the interview itself. That's not like what I'm referring to. It's not the interview. But there's a point in the thing where I'm asking him like what teams he's been on. And I'm like, oh, so I don't remember exactly what I said.
Yeah, this is
like,
the one I was
made
gonna bring up.
myself
Ready?
look like a
I
total
have.
dumbass.
I'll throw it in, but I remember you. Like,
was
this
like-
was gonna be mine. It was you. This is what you go. You go. So how long were you on the Bills? So you were on the Bills for a year, right? Like a year or multiple.
Yeah, and
years.
he's like,
You
actually,
go-
I was on the Bills
you
for like
go-
6 years.
He goes, no, he goes, you were on the Bills for 1 year or 2 years, right? And he goes, I was on the Bill for 4 years. And you go, oh yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, that's what I
He kind of played off like he knew it was for
Yeah,
you.
He's like,
that
yeah,
was
no,
fun.
that's what I would think.
There, I think did you play a single season or multiple seasons there? I couldn't remember.
Where?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. I played 4 seasons there.
What I thought.
So that's one of them. So that's
Hold
like
on.
one of my favorites.
let me
but-
give mine before you steal my other one. We'll go back to you just because you took my first one, so I'll pivot. I get a second one lined up. Ready? This is also a Vosi memory from the Chris Hogan episode.
Oh.
He goes, Vosi goes, did you know you're like you hold this playoff record? And Chris Hogan like absolutely like roasts the shit out of you. He goes, no. he goes, no, I didn't know that. And he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, I did know that. And you go, haha, yeah.
I just couldn't believe that Bosi was that stupid.
He goes, no.
He was
'Cause
like,
you
"This
go,
guy really asked
did
me
you
for
know
this."
this? Like this dude didn't know he held like a playoff record.
Bosi's question wasn't asking about the record. It was, did you know that this record was-
He was supposed to ask about it, and he goes, "Did you know you hold this record?" And he's like, "Oh my
You know
god!"
you hold Patriots franchise record.
For yards in a playoff game?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. No, yeah, I did.
I think one of
there's
the
so many
more-
good memories from that.
If I could
from
go
that-
back to
yeah.
like 18-year-old me and just like backhand myself in the head.
as opposed to
But
20-year-old you. So-
honestly, like Bosley had a ton of mistakes that one, just like funny moments. But like we all were like so nervous going into that. Like
So
I
am I-
remember I was a stuttering mess through the whole thing because I was
Well,
I'm like, oh my god, this is Chris Hogan. I know we talked about it with Chris's. We just had Chris's like marketing guy on the show recently. I don't know if you saw, but like, and I was telling him, I'm like, dude, I was so freaking nervous for that interview just because it was our first interview, and like, I was like, oh my god, it's Chris Hogan. But look, we all were super nervous for that, and we all like kind of tripped up a little bit. But like, Bosi just like,
remember, like-
had so many funny moments.
I remember like guilt tripping his agent. I was like, if you don't come on, then like small dogs will die, and we love you.
I remember when you got that, we got that email back from his agent saying he'd come on. I remember you called me right away and you're like, dude, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm at work. What? And he's like, dude, Chris Hogan's coming on the show. And I was like, holy shit. And we were all freaking out. I remember that was a great moment. That was pre-Harry. Harry, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think one of the
anyone hear
limelight
that, like,
things.
Does anyone
What?
hear that? Like that like beeping sound? Or is that just me?
It's just you.
Well,
Is it,
yeah,
his extra big ears pick up on these sounds nobody else can hear.
picking up.
Hey, Horton
signals.
hears them. I'll tell you that. I think
It was just
one
from
of
my
the-
it was from my browser or something.
I think one of the funnier things that I was just looking at. I don't think you guys even know this. But I was just looking at Offbeat, like our YouTube, and I was going back through all the episodes we've made. And I remember one time that Cross was telling me, he's like, "Yeah, nah, dude, we just took James Harden for an interview." And I sat there going crazy. I'm like, "You got fucking James Harden?" I'm like, "You have James Harden on the show? No way!"
That guy was cool.
And
That
I
guy
watched-
is super cool.
I watched
put-
the interview. I'm like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
I still follow him.
Wait,
I mean,
so
he's still
you- if
trying
you
to do
look-
that.
If you look at our Offbeat YouTube playlist, our upload number 33 or episode 33 is the James Harden interview, and the episode 34 is the James Harden trade, and they're for two completely.
Oh yeah, I
different
forgot
people.
about that. They were right back.
Um,
It was right
well,
back to
so-
back.
before I forget, can I say like what my
Yeah,
like
yeah, go
other
for it,
thing
sorry.
was? Well, so it's also like I had a couple. Like I could say so many. Like like when I said like how Michael Thomas was overrated and that like blew up and like we made all those jokes about it and stuff like that was hilarious.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, like Michael Thomas, for example. Michael Thomas is extremely overrated.
Will you stop it?
Michael Thomas is extremely overrated. Like,
Something is wrong with you.
Yes,
sir. It doesn't
tell you
make
what's
any
wrong
sense.
with you.
This is overrated at all.
no, but I'm
You watch your tongue and your blasphemy before you open your mouth.
not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's bad. He's still like a top 20 receiver.
Why would you say something so blasphemous?
I'm not saying he's bad. He's still like a top 20 receiver.
You understand? Boy, have you lost your mind? Cause I'll help you find it.
Still like a top 20 receiver. Like a top 20 receiver.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Go to the numbers based on production, Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
There was so many different things, but one of my favorite things that I think I ever got to experience with like the two like no like not like I'm not trying to be a jerk here. Is like when we started.
I wasn't here. It's okay.
The coolest thing I think we ever got to experience ever was like we've interviewed plenty of people and it's like it's on the camera the whole time. You never really get to like talk to the person much. Like you do for an extent, and we started like figuring out how to do that. Like be like okay, and then like stop the recording and be like hey don't go and like be able to talk to them for a minute afterwards. But like when we interviewed Chris Hogan, the interview was fine, and obviously we had our mistakes. But when we got to like talk to him after, that was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced.
I gotta say, out of everyone we've interviewed a lot of nice people. He was one of the nicest human beings we've ever interviewed.
Like I don't like just that. Like I don't mean to like take like steal your thing. I
No,
just
you're
like
good. I was just adding on to you.
That specific thing where like us three got to like sit there and legitimately talk to like a guy that like we'd seen catch passes from Tom Brady and like be on the field and like
you grow up looking at this guy as a hero.
So like
you know what I mean?
so like for us to like get to that point where we got that and then like getting the interview is great. But like what we always like thought, I think what all of us was like, what if we get to like talk to these guys and like get to know them, like how interesting that would be, like a personal level. Like we got that and we didn't know we were ever gonna get that. And that's like one of my favorite things. Because that was like the first time we were ever all like, oh my god, like we like did it, like we did like what, you know what I mean? Like that's probably like my favorite was like that, because then it was like he like wanted to talk to us and like he thought it was really cool and like he was telling us how like he like loved the idea and all that stuff. And I think that like kind of drove us to like keep doing it and like kept us going. Where if we hadn't gotten that,
if we hadn't gotten that, this would have died out probably a couple of weeks after that. We probably would have just been like, yeah, that's cool. But like that kind of motivated us to actually work on this thing.
One thing none of us are mentioning, and I know we have like all that trivia to do. But when we were on the news,
hold on. Can I just mention one thing from the Chris Hogan interview before you get to the news part?
Yeah.
My favorite non-Vosi moment from that interview is at the end when he brought his daughter on. That was so funny. And that was like, and he was just like, oh, I have a guest. Like, and I was like, what is he doing? And then he was like, I thought that was really cool because he kind of showed his family side as well. And he was nice to us because like we screwed up like a bunch and we like, but like he was so kind to us though through the whole thing. Even with mess ups, he was like, he wasn't like bothered or anything, or like, because you know how some athletes can get bothered by mess ups because they think it's unprofessional, but like he knew we were growing and like we were young, and I felt like he was just definitely one of the nicer people to us, because we had some people on, I'm not going to name names, that like just kind of didn't really take it seriously, didn't really like pay attention to what we were saying, like, and asking
and like doing it in the car and like all that crap. Yeah, he took it really seriously. I know exactly what you're talking. Yeah, I know you're talking about it. It's okay.
But yeah, so I just think like sometimes like that, I felt like that just kind of gave us the confidence to interview other people, and I thought that was huge for us. But sorry to cut you off again, Bosie, but
well, no, I mean it's fine. There's so many different things. That's all I was saying. It's like from things we don't even think about. No one mentioned when we got on the news and like how crazy that was, and like.
Here's an offbeat sports story for you, and I mean it. A podcast featuring 3 high school seniors from Silver Lake Regional High School. And as Bob Halloran tells us, it evolved into something much bigger.
It started with 3 good friends wanting to stay connected after they graduate from high school.
We all just love sports. We love talking about sports and sports in general.
But when the pandemic hit, they knew other kids might need comfort and advice, so they reached out to professional athletes.
Welcome back to the Senior Beat podcast. Today we're joined by 2-time Super Bowl champion Chris Hogan.
A pretty solid get, and Hogan did have some advice to offer.
Just try to, put the best version of myself forward and really just be true to myself as a person, as a man, as an athlete. I think that's the most important.
Hogan spent 40 minutes with the guys and even introduced his daughter Peyton. The Offbeat Sports team also interviewed former Red Sox pitcher Manny Del Carmen, and they're not looking to slow down anytime soon.
I think we can keep it going. I think it's a good way to stay connected, and I think as of now we still plan on continuing this.
So if you're looking for something upbeat, Offbeat Sports might be your answer. Bob Halloran, WCVB Sports Center 5.
How great is that, huh?
Wow. And their box was as nice as ours, too. That's pretty good.
It really
Great
was.
point.
That's pretty good.
That's what a job?
Oh,
right,
I know. Wow, that's
don't
impressive.
Don't bring that up, Maria.
And then when we all graduated high school, and that's something that I always remember is they mentioned what we did in our graduation speech.
Oh, that was really
that's
cool.
that's
really
one of the coolest things I can remember. And they're talking about that. That's COVID was that sucked, but to hear that something we did had gotten that far, even just to get back to the high school, and never mind how we got to the news and all that stuff. So I don't know.
We made a difference where we made a difference where we gave some people entertainment for a tough time, and that was pretty much the goal. That was honestly, hold on, Harry, one sec. That was the goal when we started was let's give some people entertainment through COVID. And then it just kind of turned into something where we actually found we enjoyed doing it. But yeah, Harry,
which is what I was trying to just lead into. It's no, it's fine. It's fine. No, I'm glad you got your point out. It's even I came in a lot, in retrospect, a lot longer than you guys had previously started this, but even I have so many fond memories of the past year of Offbeat, the past 3 months of Offbeat. I could have a whole list of my favorite moments based on the last 2 months of what we've recorded. You know what I mean? On screen, off screen, what we've done, it has if it hasn't helped other people, I really can say it has helped me personally. Because 1, I love talking about sports, and 2, I love hanging out with the guys, and this is the best way to do it at the same time. And it's really just kind of brought a new light and a new something I really look forward to, because I'm busy for 12 hours of a day doing military stuff, and then I get to come home and I get to look forward to just sitting down, relaxing, and talking about sports. And if somebody listens to it along the way, awesome. But even then, we get to talk to some really cool people out there. We get to actually have good conversations about stuff that I've always wanted to know about, the real aspect of being an athlete. And that's just it. I'm glad that people do out there actually and watch our videos and enjoy them as much as we do.
Yeah. And just to kind of, or does anybody have any other memories they want to talk about before I kind of wrap this up with just a shout out to some of our guests throughout the
I think bringing it to the guests is perfect.
All right, so I just want to take this moment to kind of go through some of our former guests, media members, social media guys, athletes, coaches, and stuff. Just kind of give you guys kind of a list. I mean, we started off with our boy Nolan, Fordham baseball player. That was funny when he left for like 5 minutes because he had to answer the phone. We had the Spike King on. We had the Spike King on, good dude. We had Chris Hogan, who we talked about. We had the Patriot One Aughts guy come on for a couple episodes. Manny Del Carmen, Red Sox player. Dennis Knudsen, 98.5 Sports Hub engineer.
He's a head engineer.
Yeah, Kevin Stevens, former Silver Laker who played in the NHL and won a couple Stanley Cups. JJ Taylor, Patriots running back, now in the practice squad. Gary Bryant Jr., wide receiver at USC. Joe Murray, 98.5 the Sports Hub guy. We had Darnell McDonald, Red Sox guy. Lou Merlone, Red Sox guy and WEEI guy. Sean Grandi, radio broadcaster for the Celtics, for 98.5. Good, great dude. He's one guy. That was probably one of my favorites. Just pointing that out. Mark Bertrand from 98.5. Semi Ojeleye, who played for the Celtics. We had Cameron Brown from Ohio State. We had Santia Deck, women's football player. James Harden, aspiring professional football player. Albie Evans, Fordham basketball player. Tommy Curran, NBC Sports Boston guy for our head Patriots reporter. Casey Finney, BC linebacker. Jeff Woodward, Colgate's basketball player. Kyle Arrington, former Patriot and Super Bowl champ. Sam Malone, former Kentucky basketball player, won a national championship there. We had Ian, our friend Ian, Celtics content creator on TikTok. Coach Mike Sullivan, the Pittsburgh Penguins and two-time Stanley Cup champion. And we had Jan Masijuski from Lehigh University. Definitely just butchered his name. I forget how to say it. Deshaun Wade from Longwood University. Mike Marshall from Bryant University. We had Kyle Squires, Lafayette basketball player. Chris Cox, Stonehill thrower. Thatcher Stone, former William and Mary basketball player, now Stonehill basketball player. We had our boy Coach K on for an episode, and Andrew Jamil, former.
I loved that Coach K episode. I will say that.
Former FCF football player and Stonehill receiver, now trying to make it into the NFL. And now getting to some of the offbeat university stuff, which we started recently, all these college athletes that have been so nice and to come on and talk about this stuff. J.R. Pooney from Holy Cross, Matt DeBauer from Holy Cross, Loudon Hogg from Holy Cross, Ariel Young, UNC basketball, Maya Rogers, University of Miami women's soccer, Chris Demercant, Stonehill football, Will Batchelder, Holy Cross basketball, Alexis Capali, St. Peter's women's volleyball, we had Dominic Easley, who's a Patriots player on recently, Joe Sanfilippo, who we're still talking to, and he's working with us on maybe a new sponsorship. Really nice dude. He worked with Chris Hogan. Back to the college teams, Olivia Borgen, Penn State, and one we just dropped the other day, Cam Alves, Stonehill football player. That's a long list of guests. Really impressive. I mean, it's been a really fun ride. We're gonna keep producing content. And shout out to all those amazing athletes and coaches and media members for coming on. Really appreciate it. It's been an awesome ride. 100 episodes is incredible. Let's go next 100. And I mean, we're really excited. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a fun ride. We're gonna keep it grinding. Thank you, Nick and Bosi, for coming on. They're gonna stick with us for a game of Jeopardy. So we'll stay tuned for that. We're gonna hop over to that in a sec. Yeah. So do you guys have anything you want to say before we switch over to Jeopardy?
Michael Thomas is still overrated.
I'm gonna take the more thankful route around here, and just a massive thank you to all the people who have given us a chance and sat down and talked about their lives and their sports history, and just what it means to be an athlete, a student, a professional player, like just everything about the history of sports and history of their lives. Has been great to be able to talk to you guys about it. It's an honor for all of us.
I will add one thing on top of that I will say, and that will be it. I guess it's all of you, but it's really from like the start. I wanted to say I'll say thanks to Nick and Cross, really, because I don't think if the three of us had really not just decided all right, let's actually try this shit and see what happens, and we had so much fun with it. If we hadn't taken the steps we took and decided to really take it serious and not just call it the Garbage Time Podcast, and do all the stuff we did to make it what it was, and send all this emails and DMs and go out of our way and take time and all that COVID and all that stuff, and putting together this, that, the other thing, all the effort we put in, all the fun we had. So I don't know, if it wasn't for us three being the friends that we've been and all that stuff, then I don't think any of this would have happened. So yeah.
But yeah, honestly, shout out all you guys. 2,052 followers at the current moment. it's fantastic. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better following. 234 subscribers, also fantastic. Just honestly, like, I know, like, here or Bosi, you just said, like, the three of us, like, yeah, we really built this up. Like, we really grinded it out. We had a lot of fun. It got me through COVID.
Yeah, I
know
don't mean to exclude
Co-
Harry from that. I'm just talking about like from,
No,
like,
I
what-
know.
from what we've done.
But honestly, without you guys in this podcast, I don't know if I would have made it through COVID without going absolutely insane. This gave me something to do, gave me like some entertainment because I was able to watch them really think about it. And it was just like, it gave me something. And then shout out Harry. I mean, Harry's really helped me build this up since you guys have gone your separate ways with, like, because you guys have been really busy with school, which we get. Harry's really helped me build this up. And I know it's tough for him with his schedule with the Marines. Like, shout out him. I mean, he's a U.S. Marine. Like, he's doing God's work for sure. Like, and I just gotta like shout out Harry and shout out like everyone on our offbeat team, Aiden, Casper, Mikey, Trey, Jensen, Chris, all of them. They really helped us out, and everyone who's helped us out throughout the way. It really means a lot. And I know, like, again, Harry, not to exclude you, but like the three of us, like, seriously, like, this would be nowhere close if it wasn't for like all the work we put into it. Like, and we really built a base to like help us succeed, help me and Harry succeed today. So, I mean, this is awesome to get you guys back on. I'd love to get you guys back on more.
I want to say
yeah.
I'm really happy to finally be doing an episode with Nick and Michael both on as well, because
I remember the last time one of you guys called me Michael. That was weird.
I had to be a little formal, you know. But it's
okay,
it's funny.
Harrison.
It's fun. Thank you. It's funny because I'm watching.
Nicholas.
It's funny because I started as a watcher, and now I'm about as active as some of the other guys in here. You know, a little bit more, a little bit less across. But
all right,
it feels good to be all four of us. You know.
Let's play some fucking Jeopardy.
Hold on,
Let's go.
hold
All
on.
right.
Before we get
Wait.
into Jeopardy, I have a
We
proposal.
can't skip Nick.
I got a proposal for the Jeopardy game.
All right.
Bosi, you'll like this one. Loser eats a fire in the whole wing on an offbeat live.
Let's
Yes.
go.
Yes.
Let's,
All right.
let's go.
Yes.
I don't
Josh,
have
you
to deal
can't
with that.
back up.
So.
No.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm the
wait,
host,
Ross can't
idiot.
do it.
He's the host.
Yeah. All right. I'm down.
Nick, are you
All right.
sure you want to dive back into those things?
Yup.
Those
All right.
ruined
He
you.
goes, yup.
So let's transition to Jeopardy. We'll hop
All right,
over
let's
to
go.
that. All right.
Let's go.
Awesome. Thank you guys.